Welcome to today's joint webinar between Wowza Media Systems and Ensemble Video, Video in Higher Education, a look into SUNY's online video platform strategy. Colleges and universities are using video to accelerate learning, increase prospective student engagement, improve knowledge sharing, and reduce the cost of doing business. In this session, we will examine how the State University of New York, SUNY, Information Technology Exchange Center, ITEC, uses Ensemble Video and Wowza Media Systems to provide cost-effective video streaming infrastructure as a service to the SUNY network. We will also learn how Buffalo State College has deployed Ensemble Video and Wowza to deliver a scalable and easy-to-use platform to manage their ever-increasing flow of digital media content. So just to cover the agenda for today, we're going to do some introductions as to our guests. We're going to also talk about the SUNY system in addition to Buffalo State College. And then our guest from Ensemble is going to give us an overview of the Ensemble video platform. And then I will talk to the Wowza Media Systems, to our Wowza Streaming Engine product. And then we'll talk about the video workflow, a typical video workflow that Buffalo State is using to actually stream a lot of their content to their students. And that will lead into a conversation where we'll talk about the Learning Content Management System, or LCMSs, that are supported by the Ensemble video product. We'll also discuss some organizational structure, the delivery and scalability, and how you can scale your solution across campuses and across your student body. And then we'll give a summary and then go into hopefully a pretty in-depth Q&A session as well. So these are our presenters today. Melaine Kenyon serves as a Director of Instructional Technology for Buffalo State College, which is the largest comprehensive college in the State University of New York system. She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in History and a Master of Library Science degree from the University of Buffalo. As IT Director, Kenyon provides overall leadership in operations and coordinates the activities of all units in the Instructional Resources Department: classroom technology support, instructional design, the college's learning management system, video production, photography, graphic design, and television engineering services. She provides strategic leadership for the development and integration of instructional technology into classrooms and other learning spaces, and she is directly involved in the planning and design of classroom media technologies for academic environments under renovation. Mike Notorious is the Chief Information Officer, or CIO, in SUNY for a university-wide program called the Information Technology Exchange Center, or ITEC, which consists of approximately 52 highly technical colleagues housed at Buffalo State College. He has been involved with the organization for more than 20 years of his 34-plus years in information technology. Mike is an extremely driven individual and does whatever is necessary to ensure success of the students, SUNY, and ITEC. Of course, he does this for his family as well, his amazing wife of 28-plus years, his 24-year-old son, and 25-year-old daughter. Joining us from Ensemble Video is Scott Nasdant, Vice President of Marketing and Sales. Today, Scott is in charge of marketing and sales strategies that will generate positive awareness and revenue for Ensemble Video. Before focusing on marketing and sales, Scott was involved in inventing the initial version of Ensemble Video. This includes the creation of the Ensemble Video brand concept, the Ensemble Video logo, and core product functionality. Prior to joining Ensemble, Scott was a Director of Technology Services at the Whitman School of Management at Syracuse University and was also responsible for managing Syracuse University's rich media infrastructure. Scott has been a frequent panelist at Streaming Media East and West. In addition to his audio-video expertise, he has significant experience in web design, internet marketing, e-commerce, social media, and new media. He also enjoys teaching and has spent time teaching in K-12, higher education, and corporate institutions. My name is Ryan Jesperson, and I am the training manager here at Wowza.
Thank you for that introduction. Buffalo State was founded in 1871 as a teacher's college, and Buffalo State remains the area's leader in teacher education today. We are located in the city of Buffalo, New York, and as Ryan stated, we're the largest comprehensive college in the State University of New York system, with nearly 12,000 students and nearly 200 undergraduate and graduate degree programs. And I'm looking forward to sharing our Ensemble experiences with everyone.
Thank you, Melena. We really appreciate you giving up your time and joining us today for this webinar.
Thank you.
Now, Mike, maybe you can give us an overview of SUNY ITEC.
Sure, thank you, Ryan. SUNY ITEC is a university-wide program housed at Buffalo State College. We've been in existence for about 25 years. We've actually been doing cloud before cloud was cool, and that is we're a private cloud within SUNY providing various services throughout the university system with respect to hosting and managed services both locally in our data center as well as remote data centers at various SUNY campuses.
Thank you, Mike. And Scott, maybe you can give us an introduction as to Ensemble Video.
Thanks for the introduction, Ryan. It's great to collaborate with Mike and Melaine. I'm actually a graduate of Buffalo State College. I got my master's degree there, so it's where Buffalo State is positioned in Buffalo. It's a great area. There's a lot of parks and great food, so it's good to be on Buffalo State person. So Ensemble Video is a powerful online video platform, and we try to simplify video management for our customers. And really what we're trying to do is help our customers deliver video content at any time over a variety of networks and devices with Wowza Media's help. Currently we're focusing on the education market. We're enabling hundreds of educational organizations across the globe to accelerate learning, increase viewer and student engagement, improve knowledge sharing, all through video and audio streaming. And one simple way to think about Ensemble Video is we enable our customers, like SUNY, like Buffalo State, and others, to have their own private YouTube. The only differences are Ensemble Video comes with Wowza Streaming Engine, and many of our features are EDU focused. We have many more management functions and security features. The last couple things I'd mention is Ensemble is unique as it was invented at Syracuse University in 2006. And we offer many different deployment options. So we offer self-hosted deployment options, cloud-hosted deployment options, and multi-tenant deployment options, which is what SUNY is employing currently. This is a great illustration of Ensemble's flexibility, usability, and scalability in a large network like the SUNY network. As Mike said, he's a technology provider, and they are using our multi-tenant model, which enables them to offer all their SUNY customers a private cloud, and that private cloud has Ensemble and Wowza hosted in it. So as you can see, these blue dots, those campuses are actually using the Ensemble Video SUNY iTech Cloud. So the benefit there, and I can't speak for our customers, but I believe they prefer that multi-tenant SUNY private cloud because it reduces costs, duplicate services, and efforts for those institutions. But on the other side of the coin, you'll see some of those black dots or gray dots, and those customers in the SUNY network are self-hosted deployment options. And we'll kind of talk about the differences between our cloud customers and our self-hosted customers. But this is a great illustration of Ensemble's ability to be flexible and scalable across a large consortium.
And I think a lot of the information we're going to discuss in today's webinar is applicable for just single campuses as well as for multi-campus university systems, correct?
Oh, definitely.
Perfect. So now that we've given an overview of SUNY iTech, of Ensemble Video, as well as the Buffalo State College, let me just introduce you to Wowza Media Systems. So our goal here at Wowza is to simplify the complexities of video and audio streaming. And we've been in business since 2005 and we have customers in over 150 countries. And our flagship product is the Wowza Streaming Engine, which is our award-winning streaming server software. So speaking of that particular product, we're going to be discussing mostly the Wowza Streaming Engine in today's webinar. And what the Wowza Streaming Engine is robust, customizable, and scalable server software that powers reliable streaming of high-quality audio and video to any device, anywhere. Because we're built in Java, we can scale across different operating systems and architectures. We have people who deploy our system either in Windows or Linux or a hybrid of the two. And we're going to be focusing a lot today on the EDU side of things, but we have customers ranging from startup websites to mission-critical applications. And just this year, we launched our web streaming Wowza Streaming Engine Manager, which is our user interface that allows you to administer a lot of the features of Wowza Streaming Engines through a user interface through your browser. So let's talk a little bit more about a typical video workflow for an EDU environment for a university for K through 12. Maybe, Melaine, you can talk to the Buffalo State need to have different features to be able to provide video both to faculty as well as to students.
Yes, thank you, Ryan. We started using Ensemble back in 2011. Prior to that, our campus was using a Windows Media System homegrown server, and it was very difficult to apply feature sets to that old system. One of the reasons we started to look at Ensemble was for its copyright compliance capabilities, and that grew into using it for video assignments, annotations, and closed captioning. Our faculty love the video assignment Dropbox because students who are doing video projects can submit their projects into this Dropbox without needing to have an Ensemble account. The professors can then receive that video into their media library, and they can actually do text annotations to that video. So they can watch it, stop it, and provide feedback to the student directly. And then they can seamlessly transfer that into the LMS, into a private folder for the student, or they can share with the class if students have decided to make that project available to the rest of the class. The faculty annotation piece, our faculty love, and we know that that's used very, very often. We have 140 Ensemble users and 145 media libraries just within a few years, with over 4,000 videos in these libraries. Most commonly used are for a music class, which the students use to study for exams. And we have several instructor welcome videos as well, and many tutorials. We have an accessibility initiative on campus, so using Ensemble and having that connected to Caption Sync for closed captioning has really helped forward our accessibility initiative for academic content. And I think one of the main pieces that helped this grow so easily on campus is that faculty could now control their own video content. Previously, with our homegrown solution, they had to work through my staff to bring us their content, and we would add it to the system for them. Someone else would have to have permissions for enrollment, and it was a very, very time-intensive process with many, many steps in the workflow. This has really enabled us to have faculty control their content and make it available when they decide to do so, either through the web or through our learning management system. And I am looking forward to answering questions towards the end, unless there are any at this time.
I don't see any currently in there, Melaine, but I think you brought up a really good point about transitioning from old media solution systems. And I think, Scott, you can speak to this point as well. We see this at Wowza that, people who invested in streaming infrastructures, let's say 10, 15, 20 years ago, they had to have independent systems to support, particular devices. So they had to have a Windows system to support Windows devices, a QuickTime server to support QuickTime playback. Now with Wowza Streaming Engine and the Ensemble video platform, you're able to support all of those devices with really just one infrastructure. Wouldn't you say, Scott?
Oh, definitely, I agree 100%. A lot of our leads and our customers come to us because they don't have an easy-to-use and seamless video solution, and many of them that I talk to in detail have either grown tired of managing their own homegrown video solution, whether they can't build the features fast enough or it's getting outmoded just too quickly, or they are just supporting a legacy streaming server. Melaine mentioned one of the most common that I come in contact with is the Windows Media Streaming Services. I actually used that at Syracuse University when I worked there, and there are challenges with that solution. While it's somewhat easy to use, there are challenges. It is not a seamless video solution. It does not support a variety of workflows that are on campus, and those WMVs don't stream to iPads.
I think that's a good point, and I think getting that support for different protocols, for different formats, I think that's really the key of using Ensemble Video with the Wowza, kind of driving the protocol side of it on the streaming engine side. And then, Mike, from your side, as far as supporting this from the iTech perspective, having just one system that you have to support, as opposed to multiple systems, I'm sure that saves a lot of cost and expense for you as well.
It does. Thank you, Ryan. It actually does. It gives us, by building on our existing infrastructure, architecture, and people who already maintain databases and application servers, we were able to work with Ensemble to negotiate a multi-tenant model that provided ease of entry, lower the barrier to entry, lower the costs, allows the campuses to focus on the application while maintaining a very cost-effective solution. One of the other things we really loved about the solution, and we were talking about the architecture, but I have to give Ensemble a shout-out. They're one of the best vendors that we've worked with as far as support. We go to them and ask them for help and assistance. They always step up to the plate, and it's been a wonderful experience with both Wowza and Ensemble.
I agree with you, Mike. I have found Ensemble to be a very responsive company in many, many ways. And several things we've asked for in the past to be included in the product. For an example, the annotations have been added, and our faculty have been very happy with it.
And I think the other thing you brought up... Oh, go ahead, Mike.
I'm sorry, I was just going to talk to the slide, but that's okay.
No, go right ahead.
Yeah. So one of the services that we host at SUNY iTech is the learning management system, and this is in conjunction with SUNY, which is one of the largest online learning systems in the country. And we're taking advantage of having the Ensemble hosted at iTech with its multi-tenancy to integrate into the potentially the 33 campuses that are hosted here for LMS. As part of the Open SUNY program, as that's rolling out within SUNY, we are encouraging campuses to try that for a free semester. And so as campuses participate with the Open SUNY solution, their first semester is free. In addition, we also offer proof of concepts. So we lower the barrier to entry not only from a cost perspective, not only from an architecture infrastructure perspective, but also by providing free proof of concepts to let people try before they buy.
And I think it brings up a very good point that you have these different campuses that maybe have been running their own solutions. The same is the case for maybe learning management systems. There are so many out there. A lot of them may be homegrown. A lot of them may be out of the box with customization. How have you seen the support from Ensemble Video across different LMS systems?
From iTech's perspective, it's been quite transparent. The building blocks work very, very well. And we set up an account with them and we integrate it in, and then through the LMS we're able to delegate the functionality.
Fabulous. So maybe Scott, you can talk a little bit about what a traditional video workflow is and how Ensemble Video is able to make that a good user experience for the end users.
Yeah, definitely. And Melaine and Mike, thanks for the compliments. It makes us really happy to hear that you're happy. And as many of us know on this call, there is an ever-increasing flow of video content in our organizations. There are so many ways to capture content and create content. And the challenge really becomes, for a software solution like Ensemble Video, is how do you simplify video workflows on a campus? So some video workflows are I need to upload videos off my iPad. Some video workflows are I need to upload a screencast that I created, highlighting a function in Excel. Some video workflows are I am a media producer and I just captured an event and I need to get that online and get that on our public web page. So really what Ensemble Video tries to do is be platform agnostic and work with many different capture tools and technologies. We provide a bridge between those capture tools and viewing devices, and we help you managing content. And of course, what we do is we manage that content on top of an industrial strength Wowza media server. And to give you an idea, the customers that we're trying to simplify their life a bit are instructional technology professionals, media production specialists, educators, students, and IT folks. And in the end, they all want the same thing. They do want an easy way to capture content. They want an easy way to upload content and basically guarantee that that content can be delivered to a variety of devices in the correct learning management system, content management system, portal, or good old-fashioned web page.
And I think you brought up a great point there, Scott, that the Wowza streaming engine is kind of an industrial server technology that allows you to do a lot of the streaming, get your streams to any device anywhere. However, to build a web application on top of that has all the features that most end users need, I think that's where Ensemble Video fits in. And the value added features that you guys give are just enormous. And I think that's why you're seeing such of course, great adoption of it in the SUNY system, as well as across other campuses.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think streaming content is one piece of that puzzle, but there are many different features and functions that universities, colleges, and businesses desire. And I have a lot of experience in higher education, and one of the things that is common in higher education is that almost every school and college wants to capture content differently. Many schools have chosen a different learning management system. So the key with Ensemble is, we need it to be flexible, platform agnostic, very similar to Wowza, and basically what our customers do is upload it and describe their content. So this is a very good example of a very common workflow in Ensemble. So many of you that are creating content or working with video creation tools know that you're creating MOVs, WMVs, MP4s, AVIs, MTS files. And the key to Ensemble is we want to make it as easy as possible for you to upload that content into our web-based application that does run on top of Wowza. And those files, you will also wrap metadata around those files. And then Ensemble really takes over, and Wowza. So what happens is Ensemble goes to work. Typically, we will transcode or encode that video so it will stream to multiple devices across a variety of networks. So after conversion, that file is automatically transferred to a streaming server. In our case, it is the Wowza streaming engine. And those files can be streamed on demand. We also do support live streaming. I haven't talked too much about that, but we do support live streaming. and we then can either automatically publish video online for that user, or that user can manually publish it. So really, looking at this slide, the manual step in one scenario is I am a faculty member, I need to upload a video, and I need to get that video in Blackboard, Moodle, Canvas, or Desire to Learn, and we can make that very, very easy. We do ingest content into the Wowza streaming engine also, so you can batch ingest content into watch directories on Wowza Media Server, and that content can be automatically published to, say, like a library course reserve system, something like that. So again, this is a very quick overview of the Ensemble video workflow, but it's a very common one.
And I think a key point to bring up is we often get the question, does Wowza do VOD transcoding? And the thing that Ensemble Video provides is that one component that our streaming engine doesn't do, which is that VOD transcoding. So, from the upload step, if you are pulling in a WMV that has an older codec, you do need to get that into an H.264 video, MP3 or AAC audio, get those codecs to something that you can actually transmit over the internet over a streaming protocol. And I think that's really the key that Ensemble does, and all, of course, within a very nice user interface. And then from the Wowza side, all we need to do is really just to stream that out over whatever protocol you want to be able to publish that online into all of these different places, whether it be an LMS, iTunes, YouTube, your own website, portal, all of that. And then I think the additional component that we're able to provide is that adaptive bitrate streaming. So, for those of you who may not be familiar with ABR, it's the ability to really create a great user experience. If a end user happens to be on a low bandwidth connection, they'll be served a file that will play better and give a better streaming experience with less buffering. And being able to provide those multiple bit rates is really something Ensemble and Wowza is able to do together. And I think one thing, Melaine, maybe you can speak to this as well, is we see a lot of our customers that come from, just doing VOD. They've only done video on demand, but then they've seen that with this solution, with both Wowza and Ensemble, they can make that jump to live. Is that something that you're seeing maybe at your campus or in the near future?
I believe we are going to start seeing it soon. Right now, most of our faculty are using the videos they create through the learning management system. We may create the majority of these videos for them, but there is a growing number of faculty who assign video projects, and then students have had no issues uploading their content to Ensemble to be seen in Blackboard.
Well, good. It's good to know when you guys are ready to make the jump. Both Ensemble or Wowza are there to back you up. So kind of to maybe talk a little bit more about what happens on the back end, what happens on the server side. This is a slide that talks to the functionality of the Wowza streaming engine. So those of you that may not be familiar with either live or video on demand streaming, what we're able to do is over here on the left is pretty much capture our content. And from this perspective, a lot of our traditional live streaming customers are doing that through video and audio, capturing that through an encoder like a Teradek Cube or Telestream Wirecast, which is a software encoder, and then able to send that encoded stream into the streaming engine so they can then be delivered to any device anywhere. And we're able to kind of transmux or take that video and audio codec out and put it into a format that can be read over the internet. What Ensemble Video is doing with our video on demand side of it is this capture side is really their transcoder pulling in that file, transcoding it to a video and audio codec that is compatible with our system. Then when ingesting that into the Wowza streaming engine, transmuxing that or repacking that into different protocols so you can deliver that to, once again, any device anywhere. And then the fact that we're scalable, both the Ensemble Video platform as well as the Wowza server platform, we can be deployed either in your own private cloud, on your own local network, a hybrid of the two. Really, it's completely scalable and completely platform agnostic. So we talked a lot about learning content management systems, and this is a really sore point for a lot of customers because a lot of universities, because there are just so many options out there, and getting the support across those CMS systems is really key. Scott, maybe you can talk about some of the CMS systems, the common ones that you guys are able to support.
Yeah, definitely. I think another strength of Ensemble and the Wowza solution is they're both compatible with a wide variety of video tools and these web technologies, which are very popular in higher education, and even business. And the core LMS systems that we are seeing are the ones, at the top here: Blackboard, Canvas, Desire to Learn, and Moodle. I know that there are many campuses in the SUNY network using Blackboard, and a key piece of our integrations in the LMS space is that we enable users to upload content right through the LMS. So some instructional technologists love that because they don't have to teach Ensemble Video to every single user that they deploy it to. What they can do is say, you can now upload video into your LMS, although that video technically never lives on the LMS. It's just embedded through an object in the LMS. So yes, we have great integrations with Blackboard, Canvas, Desire to Learn, and Moodle. Those integrations also allow you to embed single videos and video playlists in those systems. And other systems that are extremely popular, and I know, I believe in the SUNY network with Mike and Melaine, they have some experience. WordPress is definitely in use in many campuses across the globe. Drupal is a very popular open source content management system. And we can feed systems like YouTube. So some people find it funny that we actually feed YouTube, but many of our campuses and customers desire a centralized media repository. They want to be able to feed video, one video or many videos to all of these platforms, and that's really what we try to do at Ensemble Video.
Yeah, and I think you bring up a good point with the YouTube side of it. Is, a lot of people ask us, why use Wowzer when I can just use YouTube, and the reason is it's not a either or, it's an and. It's the fact that you can white label your own player, have your own solution in house, and then in addition to that, get all the benefits of social media sharing. So that's something that's very key. And then of course you can own your own scalable network. You can have it in house and inside of your own network as well. Melaine and Mike, maybe you guys can give us some more feedback as to what LCMS systems you're seeing used across your different campuses.
Well, here at Buffalo State, this is Melaine, we use Drupal for our content management system for our campus web pages, Blackboard for our learning management system, and we do have faculty and staff that also may use YouTube. However, the majority of the video content appears to be in Ensemble because of its ease of use. And also how we promote the system use on campus, and we also assist the faculty sometimes down here with the videos that we create for them. I think it was mentioned earlier on how the building block is seamless, and that has really increased adoption on our campus.
So we're seeing it being used on many different systems. SUNY is the back end is WordPress. They're using it, as well as system administration, which I believe is Cold Fusion. And of course, we have the Blackboard Corporation, but also products with Angel and actually Blackboard.
So maybe we can get a little bit more into some technical details and talk about the organizational structure. And Scott, I'll turn these slides over to you because you can talk to your experience with working with different university systems. Of course, there is no university system that's like another, and no one particular campus that's like another. But you do have a model that you follow with the Ensemble video system and being able to deploy that. Maybe you can give us some more insight into that.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of our unique features and something that is a differentiator for us is that, and it resonates with our customers, is our organizational structure. So many of our customers, whether it's higher education, K-12 or business, need to have several roles that they can use when they deploy a system like Ensemble Video and Wowza. So what we offer is at the top level an institution. So a college or a university, when they sign up with Ensemble Video, gets an institution. And many times, they need to have some sort of management of system-wide settings. So they want branding, they want authentication sources, they have LTI settings, and they set quotas. And there is a role dedicated to that institution. It's called an institutional administrator. And again, campuses can have one or many people that manage the deployment and kind of define how Ensemble Video is used across their institution. And then underneath that, you get into the organizational level, and many times organizations could be the law school, it could be the School of Medicine, it could be the School of Education. So one of the benefits of this organizational structure is campuses can start to deploy and decentralize video content management on their campus. So our organizations, again, are commonly kind of departments inside or colleges inside of a university, and you can actually deploy organizational administrators. So I always use this example. Bob in the business school can work with his faculty members and support their needs because they have their own media workflows and content management systems. And then in another example, you might have Mary in the library who has her own video workflows and her own video destinations, and they have to manage it a little bit differently. So we recognize that when we invented this at Syracuse University, and Ensemble has very flexible management controls. And in the end, if you think of it from the user's perspective, what they want is their own self-managed media library. So those orange rectangles that you see on the screen each of these users can have their own library. So Professor Bryant, another person I always talk about, he or she can have their own media library, manage their own content, and publish to their courses in their LMS using playlists or single embeds. Additionally, teams can collaborate in Ensemble Video, like the instructional technology team or the media production team, and they can manage multiple video items or audio files in a single library and publish videos to many private or public spaces. So this organizational structure does resonate with our customers. And again, another key feature here is you can share between libraries. But this structure enables our customers to have a very flexible and decentralized approach to video content management, which many of them want.
So maybe you can talk as to, this is more of a university system example, very similar to what SUNY is applying to a lot of the campuses that are using SUNY iTech to manage their video delivery. Maybe you can talk to this, Scott, and then Mike can maybe provide some of his experience in working with a system like this.
Yeah, and earlier in the webinar, I kind of introduced the idea of our flexible deployment options. And another unique function of Ensemble is that we do support this multi-tenant model that SUNY is using. So if we think about SUNY, their SUNY iTech private cloud can host any number of SUNY universities and colleges. And each university can have their own institution. They can have multiple organizations, and they can each have their own administrative structure. So, for example, a college like Buffalo State College could be University 1, and they have their own media library, and Melaine and her colleagues would deploy that system and support that system internally to their university. So this is a very common deployment model, whether it's Oneonta, SUNY Binghamton, Broome Community College, whoever it is, they can have their own area, and SUNY iTech can be the system administrator, manage the servers, host all the content and back up all the content. But this is a really good example and paints the picture of a multi-tenant model and the flexibility and ease of deployment of Ensemble Video.
So speaking more to the actual delivery side of things, doing an on-premise delivery, being able to deliver that over LAN and then also to the internet so you can reach just a variety of users, whether it be on campus or in network or out of network. Maybe give us a bit of insight into this side of things.
Yeah, what's interesting, I think, when you come into contact with customers and leads is, they have very different preferences in how they're going to deploy this. So one of the most unique deployment models is our self-hosted deployment model, or we call it the on-premise delivery model, where customers manage their hardware, the software, the upgrades. They're purchasing the servers and the storage area network. And the customers who prefer this, they want control of the hardware, of scheduling the upgrades. They may have security concerns. They might only want to stream over their local area network. And a lot of times they want to take advantage of the performance benefits of being on their network. So I always find it interesting that the self-hosted model is extremely popular still, although everything we hear in marketing, whether it's on TV or online, is about the cloud. The on-premise delivery model is a differentiator for us, and it's a very popular model.
No, I was extremely rude and just passed over Mike's feedback on the flexible organizational structure. And Mike, I do want to come back to that because I want your input on this before we proceed with the other slides. I want to know exactly, you get different requirements from different campuses, whether it be different colleges, Buffalo State, or other ones on the SUNY network. How have you been able to use this flexible structure to fill the needs of those different customers?
I think I would sum it up with one word, Ryan, that is seamless. It works exactly as Scott has articulated. We currently have, I believe, 11 campuses in the environment today. We have other quote-unquote universities, but other sites in there as well. And it's fully isolated. It gives us the ability to look at reporting across and understand total utilization, as well as each of the universities, each of the campuses have the same type of functionality. And I will mention this as well. It's kind of related to the slide you were just on, as well as this slide. Sometimes campuses have a concern of bandwidth, so that if they're delivering a course on campus and they're looking for the students to be able to download the video, well, they have to get it from our site. One of the options, I believe, with Wowza that you may want to talk to, Ryan, is that you have the ability to put a local cache server in place, and that can be used with either a multi-tenant environment or whether you host Ensemble out of their public cloud.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Scott. And not to get into too much technical detail, because I know a lot of you joining the call may be new to video streaming or live streaming. But with Wowza streaming engine, and of course with Ensemble Video built on top of that, you are able to do a HTTP caching server that sits in front of the delivery side of things, and that allows you to cache that content, whether that be that VOD stream or the live stream. Other options you can do with the Wowza streaming engine is pretty much what we call push publish a stream. So if you do have a live stream, you can then push that particular RTMP stream or whatever protocol it is out to a CDN or a content delivery network. You can also do all kind of origin and edge configurations where you have different servers to kind of balance the load. So there are just a variety of options that you can make, to make your solution scalable and flexible. And I think with that, this is just a perfect segue into delivering from the cloud. And Scott, maybe you can talk about how some of these colleges and universities and even enterprises are able to use a cloud delivery model to get content, whether it be VOD or live streams, out to their audiences.
Yeah, definitely. And I think an extremely popular deployment model is the cloud delivery model, where a customer desires a very easy to use software as a service model, where they want to either pay monthly or annually, and they want to have the best of all worlds. They want a powerful streaming server. They want a very easy to use and powerful video content management system, and that's kind of what they get with our cloud delivery model. The customers that purchase this do not have to manage servers. They don't have to schedule software upgrades or sign up for software licenses. They just use Ensemble Video and Wowza Media in the cloud. So this is, again, is a very popular model, and it simplifies the life for many of the users and decision makers
Yeah.
that are looking to purchase this model.
And Wowza, independent from Ensemble Video, we have a Works with Wowza partner program where we actually work very intimately with some big cloud vendors, so Amazon, Rackspace, Microsoft Azure, just a variety of different ones, Google Compute Engine as well. So you are able to literally spin up servers in the cloud in a matter of minutes at times. The Amazon EC2, their cloud computing offering, you can spin up a Wowza server in a matter of a minute and have it up and running and ready to go. So, and then also be able to store content using cloud-based storage, whether it be Amazon S3 or, all kind of different cloud storage systems, which really makes the entire solution very, very scalable. And I see a lot of customers on the Wowza side that are doing a hybrid of the two. Managing your own data center is extremely expensive. SUNY iTech, of course, is built for that because you guys are a system that has created that kind of cost-sharing infrastructure. But for a lot of other people, they have to pretty much deploy in the cloud because it ends up creating a much more affordable solution than deploying in your own data center. So the fact that Ensemble Video and Wowza can do that, I think, is very beneficial. So speaking of the hybrid model, this is a good example of actually caching content, whether it be in the cloud or even caching content within your own network. Maybe, Scott, talk about a sample customer that would use this infrastructure.
Yeah, definitely. So a sample customer, and I think I have a great one, is the New York 6 Consortium, another consortium in New York State that utilizes a private cloud. And what they do is they have a Ensemble Video cloud set up where many of those 6 institutions are using Ensemble Video in the cloud, but they've also gone and set up local media caches. And the idea here is that they can deliver cloud content through the private cloud media servers. So any request that comes from off their campus would go through a cloud media server, and then any request that comes from a local IP address on their network would be streamed through a local media server. And the idea here is that this reduces a load on a single media server by separating local and cloud traffic across multiple media servers. And in higher education, I think this usually will raise someone's eyebrows when I'm talking to them about online learning. So a lot of campuses, that are, thinking about self-hosting a media platform like Ensemble will say, all right, well, great, I'm going to have X amount of requests on campus, but we just started this new online learning program, and I know I'm going to have maybe double the amount of video viewing a request from off campus. Well, I don't want all those off-campus video views, gumming up my network. So one great solution is to say, all right, well, you can have a self-hosted system with a self-hosted media server, and then set up a cloud-hosted media cache so that all those off-campus online viewers or online learners can view content off the cloud media caches, and it does reduce the load on your self-hosted media server.
Yeah, and I think the additional benefit is the geographic side of it. The minute you go online and you try to increase your revenue sources for online students, these people could be even outside the state of New York. They can be in other states or in other countries. By being able to go to the cloud, you can then scale across different geographical regions to get better user experiences. Let's say you have someone who's consuming your content in Europe, they would be accessing a server or a CDN that's local to them, which will create less hops and, of course, a better user experience from that side as well. So there are just a range of options. And I think really the point of all these slides is letting people know that Ensemble is just scalable to whatever the solution is requested by the customer. So this is more of kind of a similar to what the SUNY ITech has implemented with the SUNY system. Maybe talk about your multi-tenant consortium model.
Yeah, again, the multi-tenant consortium model is actually really useful as it helps consortiums reduce duplicate services, efforts, and investments. So whether it's SUNY ITech, the New York 6, or K-12 consortiums, or even some sort of business consortiums, you can have one managed service provider that is really good at managing hardware and has a great data center, and then what they can do is provide Ensemble Video to their clients, their colleges, their school districts, or their business partners. So the multi-tenant consortium model does enable technology providers to kind of offer up their own private YouTube for their network.
Yes, it is seamless, and because we are hosted by SUNY ITech, the efforts from our IT team here have been able to be limited to staff in my office under video production and instructional design. So we haven't had to place additional burdens on our IT team.
And I think some people, some of the people attending the webinar today may be a little concerned about possibly, using a hybrid solution where you deliver to the cloud. I think one thing I do want to point out, Scott, is the fact that there is a level of security built into both the Wowza side as well as the Ensemble Video side. We're able to actually do encryption of the stream to protect the stream. And then there are additional levels of security that you can add both from an IT infrastructure, not just from the streaming server side itself.
Certainly, I think many of our customers do require content access restrictions and security features, so we have the ability to lock down videos to individuals and groups in LDAP. We can restrict playlists to certain DNS addresses. You can restrict streaming to IP addresses or IP address ranges, so there are a variety of security features built into Ensemble and Wowza.
Perfect. So I just want to do a quick summary. I want to leave. We're actually pretty much on time, which is fantastic. I want to leave plenty of time for questions. I see quite a few coming through. So just to give kind of an overview, maybe Melaine, let's talk actually to Mike first. From your perspective, Mike, what are you seeing as some of the results from SUNY ITech in deploying a video system that you're able to deploy across campuses?
Ryan, we're seeing a tremendous amount of integration into the LMS. Again, lowering the barrier to entry, making it very cost affordable. And I should mention, actually, Buffalo State started out in a single instance that we were hosting for them, and we actually grew into the multi-tenant model. So it was very easy to grow into that model. We're seeing quite a bit of interest and adoption of the model. And when Scott was talking to the map of New York State and which campuses in SUNY have adopted Ensemble with the blue and the gray dots, I believe most of the gray dots, if not almost all of them, were actually prior to us offering the multi-tenant model. So since we've offered that model, there's been a tremendous amount of growth in that particular model versus the individual campuses implementing it themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's maybe been one additional campus that recently signed up. So I agree. I think it's been it's a very intriguing and attractive option for these SUNY schools, and I know I just recently talked to a couple other ones that are very interested in jumping on the SUNY private cloud.
Yeah, and I think that it pretty much speaks to itself looking at that map. You just see the amount of growth. I think it's 11 new campuses in 18 months. I doubt it would be growing if the solution wasn't doing exactly what the campuses are requesting that it do.
Mm-hmm.
And Melaine, maybe from your side, you can talk about from the Buffalo State side. Mike mentioned the fact that you guys started at that campus. How has it grown? How has it been able to help both the faculty and the alumni?
Well, The first bullet there has been quite key, because faculty at first needed to use the services of video production in many ways to develop videos for courses. But now that they can manage their own content, we've seen a growth of faculty who are using video over PowerPoint, or they're recording their own lectures, or they're using Camtasia or Blackboard Collaborate, and they're still able to organize and control all of their videos through Ensemble. That integrates now with our campus LMS. We used to be an Angel campus. We recently migrated to Blackboard, and it was a seamless process for our faculty to move from one to the other with all their video content. We know students were often coming to our help desk with a Mac computer, which was unable to play some of the content from our Windows Media Server with the way that we had the folder permission set up to control the copyright content. And I can't tell you the last time a student's come down here needing help with watching a video through Ensemble. I don't think it's ever happened, because it plays on every device. The time-consuming workflows that we had here involved at least 7 people. Those have been completely eliminated. I haven't seen some of these people now that we've eliminated these workflows, and we know that it has really helped overall many of our faculty and our staff. The captioning, again, just another really big piece. We had a really large accessibility initiative start here 2 years ago, and Ensemble was a key piece, being able to connect with Caption Sync and ensuring that all of our academic content is accessible to all students, to the point where we've even been able to ensure that staff tutorials and other types of content we added to Ensemble are also closed captioned for all.
And I think that's a huge concern. There are federal requirements that are going into effect, when it comes to captioning, both for live stream as well as for video on demand stream. So I think it's, from the Wowza side, we support a range of different captions, and of course Ensemble Video does as well. I think from the many devices part, that's really one of the key tenets of Wowza, is any device, anywhere, and the fact that we can do that by delivering to different protocols, whether it be Apple HLS for iOS devices, or RTMP, or different HTTP streaming protocols. Of course, Ensemble Video is able to also use that to deliver. I think it's key, because nowadays you don't want to limit what device someone's using to access your network. With a proliferation of mobile devices and different devices to consume content, with Wowza, we have customers that are even using us for Apple TV or Roku or Xbox or PlayStation, using different apps. Really, the sky's the limit when it comes to that. Wouldn't you say, Scott?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100%.
Perfect. So just to give you a summary, Ensemble Video and Wowza software, it's deployed globally across thousands of universities and K-12 organizations, enterprises, really a range of different clients. It gives you the ability to stream lectures, scientific discovery, sports, events, and more, both for live and video on demand. Our platform lets students, faculty, alumni, and supporters engage with your content wherever they are. And the software really is tailor-made to deliver cost-effective online learning platforms to audiences anywhere on any device. And I think that's very evident in SUNY ITEC's implementation and at Buffalo State as well. And Scott, maybe you can let people know what they can do as a next step with Ensemble Video.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things, if you have more interest in Ensemble Video and have specific questions about, wants and needs for your organization, please reach out to me at scott@ensemblevideo.com. That's scott@ensemblevideo.com. It's right on the slide, and you can go to our website at ensemblevideo.com. So I think, I really do appreciate the opportunity here to work with Ryan, Mike, and Melaine on this webinar. And again, we can set up free trials, we can give you a demo, and definitely answer your specific questions.
And separate from that, if you are interested in evaluating Wowza Streaming Engine independently, you can also do that. Go to wowza.com or contact sales@wowza.com. But of course, with using the Ensemble Video platform, it's built on top of Wowza. It's a win-win for us from our perspective, and I think it is for a lot of universities. And with that, let's go ahead and start taking questions. We covered a few of the questions here. What LMSs are we using? If you do have any specifics as to any LMSs that are supported, definitely contact Scott at ensemblevideo.com with that specific request. Really, with the LMS system, Scott, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're really just creating the code for a player, and you can pretty much put that player inside any HTML page you want. So it gives you compatibility across different networks. Is that correct? Or different LMS systems?
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways to look at the LMS compatibility. We do have specific integrations for certain LMSs, Blackboard, Moodle, Canvas, and Desire to Learn, or Brightspace as they're calling it now, are very, very high-end integrations. And then the great thing about Ensemble is we also provide single video embed codes and playlist embed codes that are compatible in basically any platform. So whether you're talking about SharePoint or a sometimes homegrown systems, Ensemble video embed codes, just like a YouTube embed code, can be basically embedded anywhere.
Great. I have a question here specific to old media. So well, DVDs aren't maybe that old, but how do you get the media from DVD VHS to Ensemble? And Andrea, maybe I can answer that question for you. With something like that, you would just need some kind of a capture card, so you could pretty much make that into a digital file, and then you could upload that into Ensemble Video that would transcode that to the correct format, so you could stream that out. So if you have any more questions on that, Andrea, definitely send me an email. I can help you out with that. So we had a couple.
Ryan,
Oh, go ahead.
I just want to mention two thing. I think if you look at our blog, notes.ensemblevideo.com, this whole summer we did a video conversion series on taking video. Some of it is that legacy content, DVDs and VHSs, and we have some great freeware and pay-for tools that will help you transition and encode that legacy content. And many of our universities definitely are dealing with that. So I also wanted to mention that as well. Notes.ensemblevideo.com, our blog.
Perfect. And kind of to that point, we have quite a few questions here relating to different kinds of media. Do we support SWIF video files? I think one thing I'll point out, Ian, with SWIF files is they're actually not a video codec unless there's a video codec embedded inside that SWIF file. Usually SWIF is just a wrapper. So that's a common pain point. You would have to actually pretty much create a video out of that, whether it be through a screen capture or some other kind of tool, and then be able to drop that into Ensemble Video System. What's your experience, Scott, with SWIFT files?
Yeah, I mean, I think we see two different ways that people are coming to us with SWIFTs. One way is if they have one SWIFT file, we can actually manage that, and in this case, it wouldn't live on the Wowza server, but we can also put it on the Progressive Download or a web server. So we do manage I'm going to use the finger quotes, they're older SWIFT files, but they're individual files. Now, there are some packages that create a folder full of SWIFT files, videos, images. Ensemble Video does not support that at this time, just to be clear.
And then another question relating to Adobe Connect and Adobe Presenter. With individual tools like this, I don't want to get too technical into trying to support, these particular ones. You probably would be best in going to Ensemble Video, going to the support forum. But having used Adobe Connect and Presenter before, with Adobe Connect, you can actually do a live stream and record that to an FLV or an MP4. So with either of those, you would be able to then drop that in either to Wowza Stream Engine or to Ensemble Video and be able to get that transcoded so you could stream that out. With Adobe Presenter, it's different. It actually does create a SWIFT wrapper, and it's not a video as of itself. I believe the new version of Adobe Presenter allows you to render that out to a video format. But Barry, you would have to maybe consult with the Ensemble Video website and see from that perspective. Really, there's just confusion about whether or not it's a video. It has to be a video with a video codec for that to come into any kind of video streaming solution. So with Swifts, sometimes you get standalone JPEG files that get pulled in Adobe Presenter inside of a wrapper. It gets kind of technical from that perspective, but I'm sure there's support we can provide on the websites. Let me see here. So maybe, with captioning, we've talked a little bit about captioning. With the support that we have for it within Ensemble Video, I'm sure you have that in more detail on your website, Scott, as to what captioning you support. Can you provide maybe a little bit more detail off the top of your head?
Sure. Off the top of my head, for sure. There's three ways that we support captioning. One is you can upload a caption file that you already have. We support the DFXP format. Number two, you can use our automatic sync technologies integration. So you can basically push a button in Ensemble Video, and that captioning file will be created by automatic sync and dropped right back into Ensemble Video automatically. So that's a great feature. And then number three, we can also point to a caption track in a video, so that if a video already has a caption track in it, say you buy 400 videos from a provider and the caption track is track 4, well, you can point to that track and then the captions will show up in the player. So those are three ways that we support captioning.
Perfect. Yeah, and then from the Wowza side as well, we do have different captioning support for live and video on demand, and if you go to wowza.com, you can see the support for those. A couple of questions that I've had that actually are related is, and Melaine, maybe you can speak to this, is how do faculty control, stale old videos or, sunsetting content? Let's say a video is out of date. How do you manage that from the faculty side or from the administration side to actually retire content so it's not accessible and taking up space on the network?
We have not yet begun to clean our database. We haven't gone through and looked for things that are old. We do prune if people have left. We do remove their content and their accounts. However, because again this is faculty control over their own content, and they consider that a part of their academic freedom, it's not up to me or our instructional designers or video production staff to tell them what's old or what should be retired. So they are responsible for pruning their own content. Once a year, we send out an email to all of our users to let them know, hey, if you don't need something, please remove it. If you're still using it, great. If you need any help, let us know.
Perfect. And does Ensemble Video, Scott, from the Ensemble side, provide a way to retire content? Can you set, presets to retire after X amount of time? How does that work?
No, not at this time, because honestly, I was nodding my head when I spoke when Melaine was speaking, because you have two different perspectives on that question. You have the IT person who wants to keep their storage area network clean. They want to take advantage and use as much of the space as possible for active content. But there is a lot of content in higher education that kind of is like dark or gray content where it's not used all the time, but it will be used at some point. So it's very hard to go tell somebody who uses video in their teaching and learning experiences that you need to delete it because you uploaded it 2 years ago. That's in many cases in higher education, that's not a valid argument, and one person will win that argument. So we don't have that yet. Now I will say that is a very common feature request, so we are potentially going to add something like that, but most of the time it is something where it is very difficult to tell an educator that you need to delete it because of reason X, Y, or Z. It's just it doesn't really work that well.
Yeah, it seems to be more of a procedural thing within your university to set those standards and do that, not really the video system itself.
Yep.
I can see where this might come into play if you have tutorials for a specific product, like an older version of Blackboard, for an example, that may no longer be applicable now. But then we control those videos within our own media library, and we know to prune those. We remove tutorials related to Angel, things along those lines, because we no longer use the product on campus. So I can see where something along the line created for sunsetting that might give you a reminder saying, hey, this is 2 years old, are you still using it? Reminders would be very helpful.
Yep.
Great, and we are coming up to the top of the hour. If Michael and Melaine, if you guys do need to go off, I'm going to keep going through. We have so many questions in here, and we'll be sure to follow up with a lot of them, but I'm going to stay on for another 10 minutes and try to answer several of those. I don't know if you guys have time to stay on and help us with those, or if you guys need to move on.
I can stay on. I'll be here.
Perfect.
Scott.
I actually do have a 3 o'clock, but my contact information, I believe, was shared. If anyone has a specific question about how we're using anything specifically or how we're doing anything with our higher education or online policies, I'd be happy to speak to anyone. They can just email me or call me.
Perfect. Thank you, Melaine. Well, Melaine and Mike, I'll go ahead and let you guys go off. But thank you so much for attending and helping us with the webinar today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Melaine.
So a couple questions here, Scott, are asking more about live streaming, like expand on live streaming. And, from the Wowza side, of course, we can support that. We can take in, input from an encoder, like from a camera, so that uncompressed video and audio goes into an encoder, like a Teradek Cube, like Telestream Wirecast, like a NewTek TriCaster. And then from there, you can send that across a protocol into the Wowza streaming engine. Maybe talk us to your support for live video from the Ensemble side.
Yeah, so a lot of our customers, the typical use case is they will use free tools like Open Broadcaster, Wirecast, and Wirecast is not a free tool, but they'll use TriCaster, so they will generate a live stream in some way. Again, there are free encoders and there are pay-for encoders, and then they will push that through Ensemble Video and Wowza. So those live streams can be managed and published to public web pages. To a variety of devices. So we are not an encoder, a live media encoder. Again, you do have to generate the live stream, but then it is managed in Ensemble and pushed through Wowza to multiple devices. So it's something I can definitely demonstrate and talk about, and we actually have some new features in Q1 of 2015 coming out built around live streaming and ingesting right onto the media server automatically using Wowza's record feature.
Fantastic. Well, I think those of you that may be interested in the live streaming side, feel free to visit ensemblevideo.com or wowza.com. We actually do have a webinar coming up here, I think in the next week, where we're going to do just an intro to live streaming and how to get up and running in 30 minutes. But on the Ensemble Video website, there are plenty of resources there that talk to live streaming. So if you have more information, we didn't have time to cover it in today's webinar, but of course those are fully supported between Ensemble Video and Wowza as well. So I have a question here about audio only. I know from the Wowza side we support audio only. Do you see a lot of the customers that do maybe MP3 or AAC audio file only?
Yes, we have a lot of people and customers streaming audio files. So whether it's foreign language classes or it might be visual and performing arts types classes, we definitely have a lot of customers streaming audio files. And we also can transcode audio files, so large WAV files, down to a streamable format. Perfect.
And I have a question here from Brad. He's saying we also use Ensemble and Wowza to push webcams on campus. So with that, you could pull that in. Once again, you have to encode that in some way, and you can send that over into Ensemble or into Wowza to then get transmuxed and then put on a website or put inside your LMS system. So yeah, there are just a variety of ways that you can use different cameras to be able to send that stream. We even have a lot of customers that are using IP cameras, and with IP cameras, they have an encoder that's built directly onto the camera itself. And you guys may be familiar with IP cameras. They're used for security purposes, at banks, traffic highway cameras and such. And they send that stream over RTSP protocol, and that would be ingested into the Wowza streaming engine and then delivered to the site. So there's just, once again, so many different ways that you can live stream and so many different applications that are being used for.
Yeah, I think that I just think that speaks to the, Wowza and Ensemble both being platform agnostic. I mean, usually we will be able to find a way to make it work, whether it's something we already know about and we support, or if you bring a new tool to us and we say, will this work? We can usually figure that out in a very short amount of time.
And I have quite a few technical questions here from Kay, and I'll forward these on to you, Scott, because a lot of them are very specific to multi-tenant and sharing libraries. But this is kind of an interesting model. Let's say Buffalo State has a course and they want to share it with another SUNY institution. Is there a way you can share libraries across organizations?
Yes, if there are organizations are set up, you can definitely share across those organizations we talked about. So a lot of times the law school and the business school will share content. So yes, there is some possibilities of doing that. You can also copy content. So there's a couple different ways to look at that.
And then I think this is probably going to be the last question we're going to take, Scott, but I think it's something we didn't bring up during the webinar, and it's extremely important for universities and organizations to kind of justify their investments in different systems. What do you guys do from the statistical side of things as far as monitoring or the analytics to see how many videos, how many video views? Are you able to capture that data through Ensemble Video?
Yeah, we have a great analytics section. It just came out a little while ago, and I think that there's a variety of reports for different types of users in the system. So we have system reports that are more about, who's using the system, how much storage they're using. Now, on the viewer side of things, we have GeoIP type features. We're saying where are those users viewing the content, similar to like a Google Analytics, or are they viewing it in New York State or California or in Colorado, and what city and county. We have video viewing reports, so kind of popularity reports, where how many views has Accounting 101 does it have, and then when were those views happening. We also have analytics focused on the duration of time that someone watched a video. So there are certainly a lot of analytics types features in Ensemble Video, platform, mobile devices, browsers, stuff like that.
Fantastic. Well, Scott, I sincerely appreciate your time today for joining us for this webinar and talking more about Ensemble Video and this particular EDA use case.
Thank you for the opportunity. We appreciate it. And, of course, I appreciate Mike and Melaine being online. They did a great job.
Yeah, I concur. And to all of you, I have so many additional questions that are in here. We're going to definitely follow up with all of those offline. I'll forward a lot of them that apply to Ensemble video to Scott, and we'll try to follow up here in the coming days. But as I mentioned at the top of the webinar, we have been recording today's session, and we'll be posting that archive on wowza.com. And we're also going to share that video with Ensemble. And Scott, I think you guys will be sharing that on your website as well in the coming days.
Yes, we will.
Perfect. So we'll look forward to sending out that automatic follow-up email tomorrow with a link to that archive. But as always, thank you so much for attending. If you are interested in finding out more about the live streaming side of it and you're new to live streaming, hit our website. I think we are going to post that webinar that's coming up next week on there. And you guys feel free to come. And literally within 30 minutes, I can show you the entire workflow of capturing content all the way through the Wowza streaming engine and delivering that to a player. And I think that's very useful. It's a useful first base to kind of figure out more about live streaming. But thanks again, and we look forward to seeing you in a future session. Thanks again, Scott.